We welcome any questions. I will just throw out there to everyone that, I am still chasing a few schools for their completed team rosters, which means that the team roster that was emailed to the registered coach needs to come back to me with emails and usernames. And I am still in the process of chasing a few schools. So if you could all just double check and make sure that you did send that to me, that would be wonderful. And if you do get an email from me, if you could please send that back very quickly, because we really do have to close this out around noon tomorrow. And we do require the emails and the usernames to be able to set your students into the competition events. So it's really important that we have those completed spreadsheets by tomorrow, midday.
On
Okay,
that
so
topic,
yeah, go
sorry,
ahead.
on that topic, Kaula, we had two teams initially, and because of a dropout, one of our students has moved to the only team that I have in secondary for VRT. Is there any change required from my part to make that?
Yes,
Because yeah,
absolutely. Your spreadsheet needs to be updated. So in other words, we need to know, because if you've gone from two teams to one team, then that impacts how we structure the competition and where we place. So in other words, when we're setting out up breakout rooms, we will be placing everyone based on their spreadsheets, okay, based on your team rosters. And that's why this is so important, because it will be impossible on the day of the competition for us to make hundreds of adjustments to breakout rooms. And unfortunately, these are the things that will disqualify teams, and it's really beyond our control. So it's very important that if there have been any adjustments based on that you update your team roster, and that you send that in, please, very tonight or tomorrow by midday.
I am pretty sure I have done that already
Okay, then
because
if you've done then that's fine. If you've
yeah,
done
you
that,
reuse the student's license code.
yeah, as
I
long as that's what I'm saying. I right now, unfortunately, I don't have in my head the track of everybody's teams, because we have 125. But if you've sent it in to me, then that means that it's been taken care of. We're very carefully auditing everything. If this is, I'm only stating, if you're making new adjustments that you've not communicated to us, then those we need to resolve beforehand.
no,
We
this
will
was the
we
question.
will we will send to you the we will send to you the your team spreadsheet prior to the competition event, to confirm that everything is correct, but we will have very limited ability to make any changes. So any changes that's just to catch things. Maybe we missed something or mistyped something, but we won't be able to make new changes at that point. But you will have the chance to see your the spreadsheet before we set up the competition rooms and such.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Now I do want one thing. I will alert people to. There are two issues, not issues, but two potential points that I want to bring up to you. One is that I have sent a survey out to all the registered coaches regarding the awarding ceremony, which has been scheduled for the 17th of April. And this date is during Ramadan. So having it, within Ramadan means that we do have to make some adjustments to, how we celebrate this event. So we've given three options unfortunately, we can't move the awarding ceremony up because of spring break. because the schools don't return until the beginning of that week. So we've given three options: to keep it the same, to move it to the next week in the evening, or to have the awarding directly after the Eid break, which is a bit of a delay that we don't really want. But if that happens, what we would do is during Ramadan have some events, if you will, for the students, extended learning on the different platforms, and things like that to keep them engaged. We would be doing social media highlights, not announcing winners, but sort of spotlighting great work and interesting students to try to mitigate that distance between the competition and the awarding. But I would really ask all of you if you could look in your emails. It would have come from unified.robotics. And, please, if you have colleagues in your school, students, parents, anyone that's involved that you can think of, if you can share that survey with them. We will be making a decision tomorrow based on the survey results. So that I really ask your help in that, because obviously we want to make our decision based on the largest representation from the group. And right now we've only had about 40, I think 40 or 45 responses. So we'd really love to see that rise before we make a decision. And the second point is that on the competition days, because of the size of the registration, we will be having two different heats. So there will be actually two competition events on the 13th and two competition events on the 20th. In order for us to be able to accommodate every team in a breakout room, and also to be able to allow the judges to meet with everyone in a certain time. So the events will be about an hour and a half to 2 hours, and they will be divided. We'll have one from around 10 to 12, and then the second heat will be in around 1 to 3. So I just wanted to alert you to that, but we will keep all the schools together. So in other words, all the VRT teams from Nord Anglia will be in the same competition timing, and all of the ADNOC school VRT teams will be in the same area. So we won't split schools up at all. Okay, any other questions? I mean, we have Jasper right here. He can share his screen. I mean, no problem if you have to leave, that's absolutely fine, but we just want to make sure that if anyone is having any kind of technical issues, please use this opportunity when we have Jasper here. He can share his screen, you can share your screen. I mean, we're very happy if you don't have any technical issues, but we just want to make sure that we give you the opportunity. And as well, if there are any questions on the rubrics, I do invite everyone to please, especially if you're a Coder Z team coach, if you can please make a little bit of time. I know your time is very, very precious these days. I really respect all of you for dedicating some of your time to Unified Robotics. But if you could take a little time between now and the next coach's hour to look at the rubrics and make sure that if there are any questions that you bring those to next week's coaching meeting, because we do have a limited capacity to answer the volumes of emails. And if we get a lot of emails and WhatsApp the day before the competition, we may not be able to answer those. In fact, it's highly likely that we will not be able to answer all of those. So if you can just take a little bit of time, review those, any questions, bring them to us next week. I think we do have a couple of questions. Now on the progress of the Coder Z teams, We provided that school access to everyone in an email and at the last meeting. So Jasper, do you remember off the top of your head the access for the Coder Z teachers? You do? Could you put that in the chat box for us? I unfortunately do not remember it off the top of my head.
Okay. So
Thank you.
give me a minute. Yeah, I will drop
Sure.
it in the chat box. Yeah, give me a minute.
Okay, and there's a question about a brief on the presentation. I'll just answer that while Jasper is checking. We spoke about the presentation just a few minutes ago also. The presentation, it should be prepared ahead of time, and we're looking for about 3 minutes. There's no real time, uh, we don't have a set time for that, but the overall judging time will be about 5 to 7 minutes. So there's going to be 2 judging teams that are going to see your teams. And each of them will have about 5 to 7 minutes. So there's not a huge amount of time with each team, unfortunately. So presentations, 2 or 3 minutes is all that we need. And what the purpose of that is for the team to share their experience and their journey. So there's not a set formula. We're not giving you a set formula. You have to, have X, Y, and Z, because every team's experience is going to be different. I think examples I could give were, how did the team overcome the challenges of, not being in the same space? A lot of our kids are not even in the same school. And even if they are in the same school, they're having to practice social distancing and things like this. So how did they overcome these challenges? What were some of their technical challenges? What was the hardest, skill for them to learn? What were the technical challenges that they had, and how did they overcome them? Really anything I think that helps convey what their journey was, they're welcome to put in the presentation. Jasper, do you have anything to add to the presentation contents?
Muskola, like you have covered everything.
Okay. And Jasper has put in thank you so much, Jasper. Jasper has typed into the chat box for Coder Z coaches. So this is on the Coder Z platform. You use competition.atlab@santana.com and the password unified robotics 123 hashtag. Now it's very, very important that you do not change the password. This is a shared access code for all of the Coder Z coaches. So it's very important that you not change the password. Okay. Any other questions? Everybody is
Good
able.
afternoon.
Yes, Amal, how are you?
Fine, how are you? I'm just wondering, my student and I were checking the YouTube channel, and the last training session for the student was not uploaded.
Yes,
Uh,
someone highlighted that at the beginning of the meeting, and I apologize, I was not aware. So as soon as we close this meeting, I will follow up
okay,
um,
thank you.
on that. Yeah, sorry for that.
It's okay, thank you so much.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Amal. All right, well, we'll stay on for a few more minutes, and I think what I'll do is I'll type a few points into the chat box, so if people are coming in late, dropping in, we have a record of some of the things we've talked about. So as I said, please check your emails for a survey, and please have as many people involved with your team complete that survey as possible so that we make the most informed decision about the awarding.
Miss,
Yes.
now you finish with the coaches, or you have some questions?
No, we need to wait and let, this is like the coaches' times, because some of the coaches are coming in, you know, now and asking questions.
Okay. Okay, when you are free, I will have a
Sure.
contact.
Before I leave Zoom, I will talk to you. Okay. Don't worry. Has everybody that's online right with me right now, has everyone completed the survey about the awarding ceremony? Is there anyone that has not or hasn't received it? Thank you, Amal. Thank you for that. Okay, and again. Okay, I mean, if we don't have any more questions, then, you know, I guess we can, it's been quite a while without a question. So again, thank you all for coming. From my side, points to highlight would be, please, before the next meeting next week, please review the rubrics so that if there are any questions regarding the awarding, that we can address those at next week's next week's coaches meeting. And if you could complete the survey for me. So there is one question. Can I confirm the process in the competition day? The students will be working on missions independently and then their scores will be added together, right? Well, yes, technically. But again, we are looking for the teams working together. So the students, each team will be together in the breakout room. And so the expectation is where they may be submitting scores independently, that they would be working together to support one another. So when the judges come in, you know, they don't want to find a disconnected team who, you know, is not communicating at all, and one student is finished everything and submitted every score, and another student is, you know, struggling with challenges. If one of the team members is struggling with a challenge, then we want to see the teammates supporting them and helping them with their struggles. So, but technically, yes, the scoring will be done as an average of the team. Jasper, do you have anything to add to that, or?
Ms. Kaur, like you're giving them the right answers. Yes, like so each of the participant scores will be added together and there'll be an average score end of the day. That score will be added to the presentation score. So that's how we will finalize like who's going to stand first, who's going to stand second, like that.
See, I've been paying attention, Jasper, and I've learned everything.
Wow.
I try. Thank you, Dion.
And
Have a
you're super
lovely
fast, Miss Kola.
I. Okay, great. So I will, again, if there are no questions, please, you can complete the survey, check the rubrics, and I will follow up with the YouTube, the missing YouTube video. So please check for that again by tomorrow morning. It should be up. And best of luck. Again, double check yourselves. Make sure that you have sent me the updated team spreadsheet so that I have that by tomorrow when we will begin setting up the competition structure. So I'll need those all complete. Thank you so much. Thank you to Jasper. And have a wonderful evening.
Yes, thank you
Miss,
so much. Have a nice evening.
Thank you, you too.
say you last
Bye-bye.
you to answer my
Okay,
question.
yes, Ahmed. Now you can ask me a question. Go ahead.
Miss, I asked Mr. Lance and my other coaches about how I send my videos in the Unified Robotics.
And what did they say?
They don't know.
They don't know? Okay, I'll send them an email tonight. Okay,
Um,
Mr. Lance.
no, I think and then last question before I end.
Sure.
I was wait, I have good news because I have mini Lego today. Almost I have 1,000 more than